I'm Victoria Etchemendy. I may be new to some of you. I'm the Moore minister at this moment, which is Minister of Record. And I am here on behalf of Unity Worldwide Ministries as a support to this wonderful group, Salem Unity, as you go through your, let's just call it that, your, and I am delighted to be here with you. I was an interim here when this was still bedrooms and a bathroom.
Yes.
In the 80s, so it feels like old home week for me. And I've known Georgie for so long. So I asked her if we could do a little dialogue together about Christmas, about the opportunity. What is Christmas? We hear the story, we hear the music, we have memories. Did I get the toy I wanted? Yes, no. Yes. All of the history of our Christmases, and yet this is a spiritual awakening. When we come to a service like this, we are here for a spiritual understanding, an awakening, a birthing, a newness.
Okay. Thank you. She keeps throwing these things at me, and I'm never too sure where I'm going to go with them, but somehow you like it, and we keep doing it. This is my favorite service. I love Easter, but there's nothing like the candlelighting service, for sure. I love it very much. As most of you know, I retired from this ministry 9.5 years ago. And at that time, I'm going to give you a little bit of my history here before I really rev this up a little bit. Paula and I moved to California for a couple of years. Didn't take us very long to figure out we were not Californians, we were Oregonians. And so we began to work with the universe as we know how, right? All of us know how to work with the universe. And we said, just take us back to Oregon. Any place in Oregon, just take us back to Oregon, please. And in the generous abundance of the universe, we got dropped right back in Salem. You know? How about that? How about that? How about that? So I was only back here for a short time when Reverend Patty invited me out to lunch and said, come to the church anytime, come go as you please. Now, I want you to know, and I'm sure you'll back me up on this, Victoria, that is a very generous thing for a minister to do, because not all ministers feel that comfortable doing that with a retired minister. I wasn't sure if it was appropriate for me to do that. I just wasn't quite sure what to do. Okay, so Bonnie and I, my sister and I, we decided we'd go looking. Okay, so we went up to Lake Oswego, and there's a fairly big New Thought church up there, and so we attended that for our service, and they're nice people. They were all nice people, and there was light in that church too, because where people gather, there is always the light of Christ, right? Okay, but I didn't resonate. My soul did not resonate with the vibration of that church. And so we said, well, that one is not the one. So then we went to a Russian church. And now, nice people there too, very nice people. But I had to wear a headphone because they talked in Russian the whole time, the whole service. And in order to understand them, I had to have a headphone on to translate what they were saying. But they were very nice people, and there was a lot of light, a lot of music in that church as well. But I didn't quite resonate with that church either. So pretty soon, I began to show up right back there in my seat. Okay, once again, felt a little strange. Maybe it felt a little strange to some of you too, to see me back there instead of up here, but it felt very comfortable. Because this is the light that I resonate with. The light at Unity of Salem is the light that fills my soul and gives me tingles and makes me want to keep going forward. It really does. And a great deal of that is because of the light in all of you. Be the light, the choir sang. First song out, be the light. And I said, there's my sentence that I'm looking for. Be the light. So I'm going to ask you to do something this year, more than you have any other year. We know that Christmas is about recognizing the rebirth of the Christ within us all, that spark of divinity within us all. We also know our world is in a lot of pain out there. Our country is having a very difficult time as well. It needs us. It needs our light. I don't know what Spirit has for us to do, but I do know that we've been called together to do a special work on these sacred grounds, as we have done in the past, that we're being called back to do that. So I'm going to invite you that this year, more than any other year, you do a deep dive. You really go in there and you sense, you feel, you know the light in yourself. Be the light, you sang to us. So choir, that's really on you to do that. And hopefully the rest of us were listening, and we will do it also. Now, my friend, did you have something to share? Oh, okay, I could have gone on, but if you have something to share, let you share now.
Can you tell we like each other? We talk on the phone, we email back and forth, I'm telling you.
But she never knows what's going to happen when she gets me up here, see?
This is true. This is true. So I have a story, a wonderful story to share with you. I call it a teaching story. Once upon a time, what's the next line? A long time ago. Oh, far, far away.
Far, far away, that's right.
There was a church, an old, old church in a village. Now, this church had been abundant and beautiful, and many people came from far and wide to visit this church. At one time, they were gifted with the most beautiful bells in the country. Now, these bells rang every day, and they especially rang on sacred holidays, Christmas and Easter, and when babies were christened and during weddings. Now, we're coming to this story 100 years later after the bells have been installed, and they have not rung for 100 years. The people have stopped coming. The gifts, the finances, the volunteers, the donations have stopped. And no one is alive that has heard the bells ring. However, there is a legend that the bells could ring at any moment. The priest, minister, I'm sure it was a woman, reached out to the congregation and said, please, this Christmas Eve, bring your special gifts. And they did. The wealthy families brought golden coins, priceless pieces of art, beautiful, beautiful fabric and tapestries. The farmers brought grain, few sheep. The elderly folks created gifts, brought delightful baked goods, and the church was overflowing on Christmas Eve with anticipation for what? What were they waiting for? The bells to ring. And as they await this moment, the choir is singing, everyone is anticipating, sitting on the edge of their seats. When will it happen? Now, there were 2 blind men in this village. They're actually twins. And when they were born, their mother had brought them to this church and had them blessed. Throughout her life, she often brought the boys to the church, many, many times. And when she passed away, they stopped going. However, they heard about this celebration. It was all the talk of the village. They knew the way, so they decided to go. Are you still with me? Thank you, Mia. They decided to go. So it was a long walk from where they lived, and they began to walk. It's late at night. Of course, they can't see, but they know the way intuitively. They follow the steps they took with their mother, and eventually it leads to a path, and there's some cobblestones and gravel. They know they're close. They hear the singing. It is just filling the air. They are so excited to be part of this special Christmas Eve service. And as they get closer and closer, they're so excited. One of the brothers just runs ahead, opens the door. Well, I don't know if there were doors open. Runs through the doors, down the aisle, climbs the steps, goes up to the altar that is covered in gifts, and crawls under the piano. Now, the other brother doesn't know what has happened, but he too comes down the aisle, climbs the steps, gets right at the altar, touches the piano, puts his hands underneath the piano, and screams, "The beloved. I've touched the beloved." Now, everyone in the church knew it was his brother. The question is, who is the beloved? Everyone in this room is the beloved. And everyone we meet is the beloved. Now, some of us may have a little history of interpreting otherwise. That's not my friend. I don't like that person. We have a litany in here. And it is the opportunity to switch that. We don't have to agree with everyone. We don't have to see it from their viewpoint. We didn't have their background or their history. Can we, Unity of Salem, embrace that we, each one of us, is the beloved?
Reach out and touch your brother on either side of you.
And when you go home tonight, think of those in your mind and heart that you love, and send them this blessing. And when you think of those that you have distanced from your heart, send them this moment of honoring the beloved in all. This is the Christmas story.
Give the hand you're holding just a little squeeze, and then you can let go.
And the bells began to ring, and they never stopped for an hour. Thank you.